Listen, if you're the kind of person that would like to learn some leadership skills that will literally guarantee your success, regardless of what the economy is doing, regardless of what company you work for, regardless of what position you're currently in, regardless of who you report to, and regardless who works under you, you're in the right place. My name is Rob Moore, award-winning author, leadership expert, and founder of therobmoore.com. And if you don't know what I do, I help people become better leaders so they can get the people that they lead to perform better no matter where they are or what they do. And on this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share an experience with you that I just went through a couple days ago. Something that I haven't gone through in a very, very long time. And it happened when I was taking my son to his aunt's house. She just happens to live about 45 minutes away from where I currently live. And we're driving, we get about 5 minutes, we're like 5 minutes away from where she actually is. And my son asked me, he's like, Dad, can we stop at Burger King? I'm kind of hungry. And I was like, sure. That's really cool because I'm actually kind of hungry too. So we drive up to this Burger King, go through the drive-thru. I order specifically, very clearly, I think you already know where I'm going with this. I ordered 2 hamburgers, 2 regular hamburgers, 2 large fries, a small fry, and a small Coke. Simple order, right? Done. Drive up to the counter, pay my money, get my food, on my way. We don't even get out of the parking lot. And I just happened to ask my son, I was like, Zion, can you just do me a favor? We only got 1 bag here, so I'm going to eat my food now so that you can take the bag when you go into the house. So he hands me my 2 hamburgers. I grab them both. He takes my fries. He puts them in the little cup holder in my car. And the fries, they're a little overcooked. I'm not used to seeing Burger King fries that overcooked, but I'm like, all right, no big deal. I can survive. It's only a small. I can deal with it. So then I put down one of the hamburgers. I pick up the second one. I open it up. And all of a sudden, the first thing I see when I open it up is not the bun. My eyes go right to the mayonnaise. I see that there's mayonnaise on it. I'm like, they don't put mayonnaise on freaking regular hamburgers. What the world? So now I open it up a little bit more. I see 2 big fat onions on it. Then I see some bacon. And I'm like, whoa, this is not what I ordered. What the world is this? And then I just remember back to notice that they have these new bacon burgers that are out and they're on sale for like $1. But that was not what I ordered. So I looked at the other one. Same exact thing. And then my son Clint goes to tell me that, Dad, they only put 1 large fry in there. So they messed up 2 burgers. They kind of burnt my fries a little bit. And they were missing a large fry. So I was like, all right, this is too much. We got to go back. Now, normally, if one of these places, these fast food restaurants mess up my order just a little bit, I kind of just deal with it. No big deal. Nobody's perfect type of thing. But this order was screwed up a little too much. So we went back. I pulled right up and I was like, Zion, take the receipt, and go in there and just get this fixed real quick. I just happened to glance at the receipt, and what was on the receipt was exactly what was in my bag. Which means that the lady didn't even listen to me clearly and put in the right stuff to begin with. But I was like, all right, just go in there and get it fixed. So he goes in there. He's in there about 5 minutes. Then he's coming out. Now he's coming out with no food. So I'm like, okay, what's this all about? He comes up to me and he's like, Dad, I know you ordered 2 French fries, 2 large fries, but they said since they only charged us for 1, you're going to have to pay for another one. So I was like, all right, no big deal. So I gave him my credit card, let him go back in there. And then I just thought, I was like, wait a minute, they just messed up my order. They should just let me get the large fry for free for the inconvenience of having to come back. But I was like, he's gone already. So he goes in, he's in there like another 5 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what the world's taking so long. So he finally comes out. I have him check the bag. He looks at it real quick. He says, everything's in there. We drive off again. Now, this time we're out of the parking lot. We're about to make the right turn to the road that's on, his aunt's house. And he gives me the 2 burgers again. So I'm like, cool. So, and they clearly say hamburger on them, right? So I put one down, I pick up the second one, I open it up, and the first thing my eyes glow to is I see that there's cheese. I didn't order any cheeseburgers, I ordered hamburgers. So I put that down, I grabbed the other one, opened it up, guess what? Cheese again. So I'm like, what in the world? Now that was the only thing that was wrong with the order, but I was just like, come on, man. I was like, we went through the drive-thru, they messed up the order, I came back, they gave us a little bit of a hard time, they messed up the order again, I drove away again, come on, now I'm a little aggravated. So I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. We're going back again. Zion, you're going in with me, you don't have to say anything, but you gotta help me carry all this food back in here because I don't even want it. I want my money back. So we go in there. I don't even get up to the counter yet. And the girl who has the headset, who was taking the orders for the people on the drive-thru, who I know is the person that messed up my order, remembered Zion having to come in before. So she immediately smiles at him and says, oh, did we mess up again? And I'm like, I'm already not happy. And she's going to act like it's cool that I have to come back in there again. So I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I go up to the counter. I was like, listen, are you the manager? And she says, no. And I'm like, well, is the manager here? Yes. And she's just looking at me. I'm like, can you get the manager for me? And she's like, sure. So she yells for the manager. And then another lady comes up to me. She's in street clothes. And she's like, well, I'm a manager, but I'm not the manager on duty right now. But how may I help you? So I'm just about to tell her, what happened. And then the manager that was actually on duty, walks up to the counter and she takes over. And I'm like, listen, this is exactly how I said it. I was like, listen, I just went through your drive-thru a few minutes ago. I ordered some food. You guys messed it up. I drove back. I sent my son in to fix it. And she immediately raises her voice on me like I'm the person that's wrong. And she goes, yeah, your son came in here and I gave him exactly what he said was wrong with the order. And as soon as she raised her voice and went there, I was like, you know what? Oh, really? Opened up the bag, pulled out the burger, showed her the cheese, and she didn't say anything. And I was like, listen, I'm taking all this food back. I don't want any replacement. I just want my money back. And she goes, okay, no sorry. No sorry for the inconvenience. It just doesn't look like there's any consideration for the frustration that I'm going through right now. So she goes through, she gives me a quick refund for the French fry that we just paid for. Then she had to go on another register, I guess, to refund, the thing that I ordered through the drive-thru. So that was taking freaking forever. So I'm like, okay, just trying to stay cool, stay relaxed. Let's go. And then finally, she comes back. She gives me the receipt. She's like, sorry. That's it, just sorry. So I was just happy to get out of there. We ended up going to Wendy's, got all the food replaced. I was so aggravated by the whole situation was that, he ate something. I didn't even eat anything after that. That doesn't happen too often. But no consideration at all. And then, we talk about, and then this type of thing happens a lot. Not at that Burger King, but this type of situation I see happen a lot in the world, and I've seen it happen in a lot of different situations. And then we have so many people that are in the middle of these situations, and they're talking about how the economy is so bad and how sales are down and how business is so bad. Listen, as I look back throughout my entire life, I can't remember one time that I ever heard anybody say that the economy was really, really good. I just really don't remember ever hearing that. But I have a belief that stuff's kind of irrelevant, and that's just a bunch of BS in my personal opinion. I believe that we as individuals create our own personal economies. So like in that situation, we look at that situation, that manager, that Burger King, whining and complaining, possibly talking about how bad the economy is. But what did they do What are they currently doing in that operation to prevent them from having a bad economy there? Because when I look at all the things that happened with just my transaction alone, it was not one breakdown, not two, not three, not four, not five breakdowns in that whole transaction. There was more than 5 breakdowns in a transaction. That doesn't happen very often. And I couldn't tell you the last time I got caught in a situation where there were that many breakdowns in a situation. And I just know, you know, for me, I've been a manager before, I've been in leadership positions before. I put myself in that same situation. I know how I would have handled it. I would have like, oh, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I can't apologize enough. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you all your money back. If you would like, you can keep all of this food. It's up to you. But then at the same time, if you have time, I'm going to make sure that we cook all this stuff fresh and you can have that too on us. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now, that's a totally different situation. Because what I believe is that nobody's perfect. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be hookups. There's always going to be bad situations. There's no company in this world that has never made a mistake before. The best companies in this world, they make mistakes. They mess up. Hey, it's a part of life. It happens. But what's important is not what happens, it's how you handle what happens that makes the difference. Now me, very aggravated customer, I never left happy. I mean, I was just happy to get out of there. But they didn't do anything. They didn't even try to make an attempt to make me happy. So they're creating, you see how they're creating their own economy there. But then at the same time, you can have a different leader, a different manager in the same situation that can take that bad situation and turn it into something really good, so that now when I am out talking to my friends and we're like, hey, man, I had a rough time at Burger King today, but you know what? This is what they did about it, and they were so freaking awesome, and you know what? I will be back. As of right now, that Burger King, I don't plan on going back. So there's really 3 things that you really can get from this experience that I just shared with you that can really, I mean, literally guarantee your success regardless of anything, regardless of the economy, regardless of who you report to, regardless of who you work with, regardless of who works for you. If you focus on these 3 things alone, you're going to have guaranteed success. I can promise you that. So let's go through really quick. The first thing that you need to do as a leader is to focus on excellence. What does that mean, excellence? That means make sure you as a leader is doing the best that you possibly can in everything you do, not just at work, but outside of work too. But especially when you're on the job, you have to expect excellence. You have to lead by example first by doing it yourself, and then you have to expect it from everybody else. Let's look at that Burger King situation. It was very clear to me that either that owner or that manager did not expect excellence from the people that worked there, because there were just absolutely too many breakdowns for there to be a situation where there's excellence. You know, like for example, my hamburgers. My hamburgers were labeled hamburgers, wrapped in hamburger paper, but they're cheeseburgers. Wrapped in hamburger paper, labeled hamburgers, and instead they're bacon burgers. That's not excellence. You know, you have to set the standard. This has got to be a standard. Up front, number 1, it's got to be a standard. Number 2, which ties in perfectly with number 1, is there has to be accountability. Another good way of putting that I've heard a lot throughout my career, especially in the job that I worked in, from many really good operators, leaders especially, is inspect what you expect. You have to spot check your people. Make sure that they're doing what they're doing. Because what I have found from personal experience, and also from watching things going on in the places that I have managed, is that if you don't hold people accountable, they'll slack off. If you don't inspect what you expect, people won't give 100%. If these two, excellence and accountability, go hand in hand. If you don't hold people accountable, you'll never get to excellence, and you'll never maintain excellence. Critical. And as a leader, you have to be the person. You have to be the one that makes this happen. Because when you do this consistently all the time, you're going to naturally condition your people to strive for that, to work for that. You're going to condition them to a point where you almost don't even have to do this anymore, because they're trained to do it. And then, last but certainly not least, for this story, before I talk about that, let's go back to accountability. I forgot to talk about how this coincides with the story that I was just telling you. Accountability. So with all those different things that broke down, now, when you're in a leadership position, a management position, especially a leadership position, when there's breakdowns, you got to take care of them. You got to fix them right then and there. You got to get the customer, fix the problem with the customer, make them happy, get them out of there. But then you got to ask yourself, why did this happen? Why did this happen? You got to get to the root cause of why things happen so that you can fix them. Because if you don't get to the root cause of why they happen, guess what? They're going to keep happening over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what happens. That's why it's so important to have accountability. So, this... Like that manager, that leader needs to go back and find out why they're wrapping all these different hamburger wraps for everything, whether they're cheeseburgers or bacon burgers. They need to go back and find out why. Somebody needs to be held accountable as to why this is happening, and then that'll be an opportunity to teach, coach, train, and counsel that person or those people to correct it. Whenever there's a problem, you got to go back and find the root cause so that it can get fixed. You can't let anything slide. You can't let anything get by. Because if you do, you're compromising your excellence. And you're going to have a sloppy operation. You're going to have a sloppy team. And you're going to be frustrated and aggravated all the time because things aren't running smoothly. Now, last and certainly not least... So we said accountability. Let me just make this note real quick. Inspect what you expect. And then here. Number 3 is you have to add value. Not just, and when you're adding value, you're really over delivering. Because most people, for some reason, will just do the normal stuff. Dang, what am I doing here? Most people will just do the normal stuff that everybody does on a day-to-day basis. You know, they do the bare minimum. You know, they're there for a paycheck. And that's not what you want. As a leader, you got to add value. So, like, for example, when we talk about the story that I just shared with you, you know, how do we add value? And how does that leader or that manager add value? And the only reason why I say leader manager is really they need to be a leader, but this person in this situation was not a leader in that situation. They were more of a manager, but they needed to be a leader. And in that situation, adding value is making sure that the customer leaves happy. Number one. Number two, you can't have situations where you have a customer come in to your place of business, do business with you, something gets messed up, and then they leave, they come back to fix it. It has to get fixed 100% right then and there. You know, they can't come in, spend all this time getting something fixed, leave, and then have to come back again. You know, because it was very clear to me in this situation that this lady was just there for a paycheck. She didn't think about, you know, the fact that, you know, I could have been on the way to being somewhere by a certain time, and she's making me late. She didn't know that that's a possibility. She isn't thinking about how aggravating it is to drive out of the parking lot, you know, have to wait for traffic to pass so you can get out of the parking lot, and then find out that you have to drive right back into it. You know, we're not thinking about that. And everybody's time is extremely valuable. Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I know personally my time is extremely valuable, and I value it a lot. And I want to make sure that I'm very efficient with my time. So you don't think about how much time was wasted there. And then at the end of the day, I'm still leaving unhappy, even though I got my money back. So you got to add value. You got to over deliver. And I gave you a great example on what I would do, or somebody in a leadership position would do, you know, to rectify that situation. Because you want to make sure, you want to feel it, you want to see that customer is really leaving happy. You got to do whatever it takes. You got to add whatever amount of value you got to add to make sure that there is no unhappy customers. Period. End of story. You have to over deliver. And these are the three things here that will guarantee your success regardless of any of those other factors that I mentioned, regardless of how the economy is doing. If you're the type of leader who expects excellence from yourself and from all of your people, it may take some time, but they will get there. And then hold them accountable. Hold yourself accountable. Hold your people accountable consistently, and add value, not just to your customers, add value to the people that you're leading, add value to all the people that are around you. If you can do those three things all of the time, I guarantee you will be successful, regardless of what the economy is doing. And if for some reason the company that you're in or the organization that you're in is not doing well and it's going to go under, or they're going to lay off, guess what? You're probably not going to be one of the ones that's going to be asked to do any of those things. And if for some reason you are, there's going to be people, just because you do these three things, there's going to be tons of people that are going to want to take you on as a person to add to their company. And that's pretty much going to be my lesson for today. Before I let you go, I want you to do two things for me. Thing number one is I want you to go to my website at therobmoore.com, and I want you to go below this video, leave me some comments, click on the links, make sure that you have the free gifts that I have available there, so that you can get on the road to becoming a better leader. Thing number two that I want you to do, if you're the type of person that wants to learn how to make money online, I want you to go to makemoneywithrobmoore.com. So one, go to therobmoore.com. Two, go to makemoneywithrobmoore.com, and you have a fantastic day. My name is Rob Moore, reminding you to show up, step out, and shine. Now is your time, so make it shine. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic day. Catch you later.